Hello and welcome to the Path of Least Resistance. I'm Versailles. Today we're going to go over a run I did with Aatrox against a 6-star Dragonsire adventure. So I think I was maybe overthinking it. Here we just went with Double Stalker's Blade, Guardian Angel, very normal stuff, and it worked out completely fine. I got lucky in a couple places. So to start with, for a power, I did see Unyielding Determination here, and I thought about taking it because, Unyielding Determination is really good. However, I decided not to for the video, and so we took Hold Them Off instead, which I think is probably a better choice. If you get Hold It, that would be even better, and I think your best choice is probably Perfected Mana Flow or Trifarian Might would be my top choices, but yeah. So I didn't re-roll out the Furious Wielders there because I knew that I would draw Aatrox because it's the first adventure and you don't have a support champion yet. So having those Furious Wielders will let us do some extra damage and maybe remove some units that we wouldn't otherwise be able to. And then of course on turn 2 we'll drop Aatrox and he strikes with the Double Stalker's Blade, removing a unit, and that's kind of going to be the pattern that we're going to use. The whole idea here is going to be to remove all of the units as much as possible. That's also why we put Guardian Angel on him. Guardian Angel also gives us an extra reroll in case we need it later if we were to lose to an adventure. So, or not reroll. I always say that, it's revive. I don't know why I can't get that straight. But I can't. So, you ever hear me say reroll? I probably mean revive. And yeah, so we're just doing normal things here, playing units down so that we have blockers, and I do attack here because the guy on the moose can't die because of tough, and you attack with the elusive as well. All strikes you do reduce the cost of World Ender with equipped units or darken units. So you want to be striking with those as much as possible, which also means equipping as much as possible. And then yeah, when you're ready, you play World Ender, and you get some bigger units. Problem is the bigger units still aren't, I don't know, bigger than your opponent's units, which in my opinion is kind of problematic. So like here we attack, lose a couple, or lose one, and clear out their board a little bit. We also don't have Overwhelm baseline for everything, so something like the Beast Within would help that, but I like the Relic setup, so we can't really afford to do that. But yeah, just if your units are smaller than theirs, that's kind of the entire thing that Aatrox is trying to do, which is play giant units at huge cost discounts. And so if your units still aren't big enough to clear their board, kind of did nothing. Works really well in lower level adventures, and it's like fine here, but it's just not quite as strong as I would like. So what I probably should have done there is blocked with Aatrox, and then he would have come back and removed 2 of the enemy's units, which would have been better than what I did there. So, I don't know. I was figuring things out. You can see the hesitation, so here I realized that I could do that. So Aatrox will die, but he comes back with Guardian Angel, strikes twice. And then a Furious Wielder to get rid of the other one. If you had another Aatrox in hand, you could attack and lose your Aatrox again, then you'd get a new one with Guardian Angel refreshed. So that is definitely a way to go. And most of the games end up looking pretty similar to this. Here I take Vengeance because Vengeance is good, especially when you can play it on turn 2. Could get rid of Elder Dragon with it later. And here I take Mahira. Kale has Mana Deposit. Also has an elusive attacker, which is pretty valuable. And Mahira, of course, has lifesteal, which lifesteal is always good. And it also buffs all the units on the board and into your hands, so especially in this adventure where you can play her for basically free on, not free, but on the first round, and then start stacking those buffs. Like, that's pretty good. Yeah. And also because of the adventure modifier, I think she gets +2/+2 from Phage. So here I block with Aatrox, he comes back, clears the board. I did take some damage there that I didn't need to, could have blocked. But overall, not a big deal. And then we're just equipping all our units as per usual. And I want to reduce the hit points on the Drake so that when we attack, it's a better attack. Attack with everything here. My plan is to use Violent Discord to strip barrier, and then I could do something like Furious Wielder if I wanted. Kale is fine though because of the quick attack. We're only going to get hit back for 6. Otherwise we probably would have used Furious Wielder there. But I wanted to save my spell if at all possible. But you still need to be clearing the board, so you have to take attacks even if they're sometimes bad. Also, again, it reduces the cost of World Ender if you're attacking with anything that's equipped or darkened. So all of that just matters. The Frostbite, obviously here, not great because they have Formidable. And I do want to play Mahira, but don't want to do it until they attack with the Challenger, otherwise we'll lose the unit. Block with Aatrox, and we can just replay because we have another one in hand. And I play World Ender here, which doesn't do that much because we only have one unit equipped with Darken. Then I drop Mahira and boost her. Now I have a lifesteal unit that's elusive. That's always good. I attack with everything. We have the Kale spell in hand that can make it so we don't die. Probably wouldn't have been wrong to Furious Wielder here either. Actually not sure why I didn't. Not too important, I guess. And here I'm blocking so that we'll get the Guardian Angel effect and double Stalkers. And then it should be a clear win from here. There's one unit on the board. Kale has double attack. Kale was actually pretty significant in this adventure. That double attack with Overwhelm really made up for the fact that the rest of my units weren't able to get through. Here, I thought about taking Viego for a long time, but I didn't want to dilute the champion pool, so I ended up taking Death's Hand. But that Viego was also wasn't sure how like consistently I could kill my own units. So yeah, we see cost reduction for Aatrox, and I take that. And then here I go for Camavoran Dragon. This was probably the worst fight I had the entire time. It really just did not go very well. So we start by not drawing Aatrox. Isn't too bad because he can forcibly be drawn if you play 3 different Darken cards. or maybe also Cultist, not sure. But his whatever base power is that he can be drawn if you play 3 different cards. And so here I have Vengeance to keep Mahira alive. And, you know, I took way too much damage there. I'm at 11 hit points, but Mahira's on the board. I'm not feeling too bad. We also draw Aatrox, which makes me feel really good. Drop him, remove a unit. Only got rid of one, which wasn't great. They just have so many hit points. I attack to get some hit points back. Probably could have played the Elkin. I feel like I didn't for a reason, but I cannot fathom what reason that would be. Here we just do blocks. And I want to decide if I'm gonna take extra damage here or not. And I figure I can just use Kale's Judgment and keep my unit alive. And then we can also kill the Camavoran Dragon. So things went pretty good here. That's a pretty good trade-off. Not sure what I'm looking at here. I'm not sure what there is to process. But I'm thinking about something. Looks like I'm checking to see if I have Guardian Angel before I attack with Aatrox. Problem with Erastin is that he comes back, and that one had the Deathless Dragon Soul, so he revived himself, and now there's 2 of them on the board and they can never die. So that's fun. And I get rid of my Aatrox there to get rid of one of their units, and then I can replay for 3. I think I was checking for Guardian Angel there as well. So here I actually make a mistake. The correct idea was to make 2 Aatroxes. So how you would do that is you would play, say, a Forsaken Bakai, and then you would equip it with the Darkened Blade, and then here I'm supposed to play my Aatrox, and then play World Ender, and then that'll make 2 Aatrox, because anything with the Darkened Blade, when you play World Ender, will transform into Aatrox. So I messed up that interaction because I haven't done it in a long time. The idea that I had was just ordered wrong. But it would have been cool to have 2 Aatrox. Although, honestly, I mean, just look at the stats that we have versus the stats they have. Aatrox isn't doing much. But it would have had Guardian Angel, I guess. So that part would have been good. Here we can't block because Fearsome exists, I guess. And so I'm forced to block with Kale and one of my Darkens, which I did not want to do. Not sure why I decided not to Deathbringer slash that. Seems obvious that I should have. Then we're just trying to get your units down on the board. I think I overplayed units because one of my units was Tarosh. We're gonna get some Erastins out of it, and so if I fill the board up, then I get less Erastins, and Erastins will let me block forever except for anything that has Overwhelm, so it's kind of good to have them on board. And because they have Deathless, even though they're ephemeral, they're going to come back as real versions. Playing Aatrox to get him back on the board. I think this is the slowest I've ever played in my life. It's fine, there's a lot to think about. So, you know, you can take your time. It's not like it's a timed event, but it's just weird for me. Not sure why the ordering mattered so much, but I only take 12 damage this way. I think it's because I take the damage and then Aatrox comes back and hits a bunch of times with the Stalker's Blade, and every time you hit, you gain 2 health. So play the Winged Messenger to have an elusive way to do damage. And here there's 28 damage on the board. I sacrifice Aatrox because he's not doing any damage anyway, and it makes the Overwhelm from Kale do more damage, and then, you know, that's enough to win. Only needed 1 damage, found 18. Here I take Ranger Knight Defector because he has like decent stats, but I don't want any of the cards here really. I thought about Rite of Dominance. It's pretty good, especially with Summoning Beacon. You could play it not destroying your mana gem, and then it would be fine. I take Boarding Party just because I can afford it. It's not really necessary. Doesn't do that much for us. And then I immediately remove Ranger Knight Defector because I kind of didn't want it anyway, and I don't think that it's doing much more than any of the other cards in the deck. Then we go into Shyvana. So I keep Violent Discord because it has Hero's Horn on it, so I can always draw a champion if I don't get my correct champion. And then I'll also keep the Darkened Staff because that thing gives you +4/+4, which is pretty significant. Attack here, they're never going to block. If they do, it'll come back with double Stalker's Blade, and do some damage to that unit. Wouldn't have killed it though. And you can see just how much value you're getting out of the Frostbite. So, you know, that unit on the left would be taking 24 damage right now. If we didn't have the Frostbite, so it definitely makes a huge difference. And of course we drop Mahira for the lifesteal and also the stat buffing. Dropped Winged Messenger, lets us attack with elusive. No, you were right. I was right. Do that. Good job. Don't know what I'm thinking about. We lose Mahira here. There's really nothing we can do about it. I was trying to do the calculation on Violent Discord to see if we could beat Strafing Strife. It's still like 2 damage short. I don't know if that World Ender was good. Didn't really solve any of our issues. I'm also not sure why Violent discorded. Maybe it was to get the Deathbringer slashes? That'd be a good reason. I'm looking to see if I can play any of the Darkins, and I can't. Probably because I played Violent Discord. So had I not done that, I would have been able to play better units. We also got really lucky here, because they never dropped the Rally guy in a good spot. because I have another Aatrox, I'm able to just sacrifice him, and then that lets us get rid of more units. We don't want to kill the Dragon Guard Lookout because I think when he gets resummoned he'll rally, and he'll get resummoned because he got the Dragon Soul that gives him revival. So now that I picked up another Aatrox, I could sacrifice my Aatrox. I think attacking here open would be fine. You could also play a bunch of Darken units though. Not sure what's better. Probably just attacking. I attack here with everything. If they decide to kill Aatrox, that's fine. I can always just replay them. It's actually better. And then of course just play your units so that there's stuff on the board to block. Keeper of the Box is good because he has lifesteal. Orn's Bellow here, or Bellow's Breath I guess. Really strong. It does like 10 damage to everything. Probably could have Vengeance something there, but I was saving it for in case something stronger came out later. And I do decide to Vengeance here to keep my unit alive. And then they play a second Strafing Strike, which is fine. Costing them 2 is good for me. Like I said, this fight didn't go super well, went really long. We did get the Emperor's Deck unit that summons 2 Sand Soldiers. It's actually really strong. It's just really great for making consistent blockers. But then I decided to attack with it because I'm just trying to get out of this adventure by doing damage somehow, and that was a pretty big mistake. That was a really strong unit to get rid of for fun. Now we're in like a reasonably bad position. We have very few cards in hand, almost no units. They are starting to run out of cards though. So I figure if I can just outlast them, it'll be fine. And we're doing pretty good at that. Do pick up Kale here. So the proper time to drop Kale is after the attack, because they get that Strafing Strike in hand. They also have Challenger units. And then Kale is, 20 power, so once Kale levels up, which will happen next round, they, actually not sure why they didn't kill Kale there either. I guess they wanted to keep their unit alive. Yeah, hitting for like 48 double attacks, pretty good. So, like I said, that was the worst adventure, or worst node we had in this adventure set. Took forever. And we get a gift here of Deathless. Deathless plus Guardian Angel is of course a timeless combination. Extremely good here. I reroll to try to get something good. I was hoping for, Trifarian Might, Mana Gems. I think we're probably good on defensives, but I'm looking to see what we have for 2 cost units. Nothing that great, so I go with Quick Draw, which is a really strong power. Having cost reduction on every card you draw, yeah, pretty good. Because we have Deathless and Guardian Angel, the rest of the adventures go really well because we can easily sacrifice Aatrox, and it's just positive for us now. there's literally no downside to doing it. We can keep Aatroxes around forever. It's all very, very good. So here we're gonna get stunned, so I decide to sacrifice my Aatrox, which gets me 2 Aatroxes back. And clears the board. Can't afford anything after that, but you know, that's fine. Take the easy open attack, we can build our board for later. Get stunned, drop Mahira for the stat scaling. Raildender wouldn't really do very much here, but we do it anyway. It does help you play the Darken cards, so even if you're not creating Darken for free, it's pretty fine. We get recalled. And I sacrifice my Aatrox. He only gets 1 revive because the one that had the Guardian Angel was the other one, unfortunately. One that got recalled. So, probably should have sacrificed that one when I could have, but not sure that that was feasible. I don't remember what like the stat lines were. Attack again, no problems. We do take 16 damage here from Divine Drafts, which I was pretty unhappy about. But we do have Mahira still, so that's always a nice way to stay in the game. Also, whenever Aatrox strikes, we get 2 hit points back, so that's not bad either. And that's basically what I'm doing here, is just striking over and over as much as possible to get all of the hit points that I can get out of it. I think I forgot that Mahira could heal, actually, but it's fine. And as always with Dangerous Adventures, get out as soon as you can. Those Divine Drafts doing like 8 damage are really strong. Here we get 5/5 on Aatrox, it's the most obvious pickup of all time. And here I take -3 cost on Furious Wielder, because that's just a good spell, and for free is also really good. I thought pretty hard about that Mountain's Peak, so much that I actually went back to look at it again, and I think I determined that it would be worse for me than it would be for them. So you could play Aatrox for free potentially, but they could play Elder Dragon for free, and that's just much worse, so decide to not go that direction. Let's see if I play this right. I'm actually not sure if I did. So you always pass here, so they can play the guy that captures that dragon specifically. And then, so I dropped Aatrox here. That's actually a mistake. Should have dropped Kale first because Kale has mana deposit. So not doing that was a pretty huge error. And they get a second guy with capture. Here, I play Aatrox again. This is probably fine. You don't want to play the Kale when they can just attack and then you have no defense to that attack. So, second time was probably fine, first time definite mistake. But because they captured our unit and we played it again, we have 2 Aatrox on the board now, which is nice. And of course we can kill our units to equip other units, especially if they're ephemeral. And I still haven't played Kale, which I think means that I either don't know it's in my hand, or I forgot it had mana deposit. And I don't know what the answer is to that. Like, it's such a good card, just not having it on the board is kind of ridiculous. So, we get Frostbitten there, then we get Frostbitten again, which sucks, because most of our defense comes from being able to use, like, Death Slash, Deathbringer's Slash, and yeah, can't do it. But we do Furious Wielder, and then we just don't take very much damage here. I think we take 1, take 0, turns out. So that was pretty good. Not sure why I passed. Could have played one of the Bloodletters as a Zolwani. So, weird choice not to do that. And then of course we just attack, trying to get that excess health down. Have to get through all their blockers first. It's really annoying. Could do that, but it's better to save it for next round. Let me get some more units on the board. I trade out my Aatrox. Should be enough to clear everything, but you know, safety block always good. Also, if I get rid of a unit here, we get an extra Aatrox on the board, so that was worthwhile to do. And now we want to clear their board so that we have an easy open attack next round. Attack, win the game. So again, nothing too complicated. Obviously, Deathless just doing an incredible amount of work, right? I take the Power Riff on Death's hand, and my idea there is that I'm just going to get rid of it. And nothing there was worth taking, so we don't. And then I cut Death's hand. It is okay, but it just doesn't do quite enough damage in like a 6-star adventure to be worth keeping. And being able to get rid of 4 of them at once was, I think, really strong. Did I keep Vengeance there? I didn't. That's weird. Should have kept Vengeance to get rid of Elder Dragon when he came down. This time I remember I have Kale. Play it. And we drop Aatrox because he needs to be on the board. He's, you know, a huge amount of clear, board clear. Equip Kale, can't attack with her anyway. We do attack with Aatrox. They play a giant worm. Not sure what I was thinking. I think I was trying to decide if I should get rid of the Aatrox right then or wait for Elder Dragon to come down. Because we can do that with Deathbringer's Sweep. So, because of what happens here, it would have been better to get rid of the Aatrox there. But had they had the ability to play Elder Dragon, which they very well could have, then saving him for that would have been better. Either way, it went kind of okay. We didn't take any damage, so yeah. Used Violent Discord to do enough damage to hurt that dragon thing before Aatrox died. Otherwise it would have grown bigger from Fury and we would have taken damage, so it all worked out. Cloud Drake comes down. So you know that Elder Dragon's coming down. There's just been so many Dragon Boons already. He's probably cost 0 in hand right now. Kill it with Furious Wielder. And here, before the Dragon Boons can hit, we sacrifice our Aatrox. It comes back to life, clearing out Elder Dragon. Waited on World Ender because I think I wanted to equip some more Darkens, but I don't know if that ends up happening. I think the thing that I'm not doing that I should be doing is killing things before the Dragon Boons hit, and it just looks like I'm not doing that. Not consistently anyway. Anyway, KO levels, we win the game. Honestly, it wasn't hard. It was built on the back of some lucky things that happened. So getting Frostbite in the beginning is lucky. That saves us so much damage over time, probably 20 damage a round. And then obviously rolling into Deathless later, and then also the Titanic Maul on that, so that Aatrox had the stats to actually remove the units, was really significant, because there's a world in which that doesn't happen, and then he doesn't have the stats to remove. And that's, you know, probably the most common case, actually. And Deathless was just such a huge boon. Like, as soon as I got that, obviously the game was much, much easier. Although we weren't really struggling before. We were struggling to deal damage to the Nexus, but we weren't dying. Kale, as a support champion, came in clutch so many times. So, yeah, it was easy, but I don't think the run is necessarily easy. I think the things that I got really contributed to it becoming an easier run. But yeah, I mean, by the time we pulled Deathless and Titanic Maul, everything really fell into place, and it worked out. So hopefully you get lucky. Hopefully the Double Stalker's Guardian Angel works out for you as well. I think that anything else was overthinking. You could maybe replace Guardian Angel with Frozen Tomb if you have it. That way you would always have like 2 Aatrox on board. You'd be able to play one before the second one spawned, but you'd get a bunch of Stalker's Blade hits with that. I do like Guardian Angel though. It sometimes will mess with the opponent's AI, and they like won't attack in places where they should. And also you get that extra revive, which, you know, can be super useful if you ever die on luckily, and then you can just take that extra turn to do it again, and sometimes you get lucky. Yeah. So this is what I did. I think this was easier than my 6-star run, and I had many, many concerns when I was running the 6-star, and those were all alleviated playing this 3-star in this way. So probably could have done that 6-star better if I was using these relics instead of the other relics. I think I way overthought what I needed to do there. But yeah, that is all for me for now. Hope this helps. Hope this works out for you. You might need to get a little bit lucky, but Deathless is kind of common, and you can actually spend rerolls at the first boss to try to get it if you have those extra rerolls. Obviously, best to use it on that initial power to make sure you get a good one. But if you did get a good one early and have extras, probably wouldn't be terrible to try to get that Deathless item on Aatrox when you're using Guardian Angel. Anyway, that is all for me. Thank you for watching. If you like what I'm doing, like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.